The door slammed open with a sound like thunder. Jessica screamed, half naked, wrapped in a hotel sheet. And Tyler? That smug piece of trash just froze like a deer in headlights. I stood there, calm, watching them scramble like cockroaches. You spent my money to sleep with this clown? I asked. Jessica didn't answer. Her mascara was smeared, her mouth open, too stunned to lie, for once. But I wasn't there to talk. I tossed her apartment key on the floor between their shoes. That one doesn't work anymore, I said. New locks, new bank accounts. And guess what? You're not on any of them. Tyler puffed his chest. You can't just. I stepped forward. Sit down, Junior. You're lucky I didn't bring a bat. Jessica started crying. Not because she regretted anything, but because her little escape plan had just turned into a nightmare. Let me back up a second. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't me going crazy. This was planned revenge. It all started 3 days ago, when she told me she was going on a girls' trip to Miami. Funny thing is, her best friend Ashley was with her fiancé in Colorado that weekend. I called her, just to be sure. That's when the math started breaking. And when Jessica blocked my number an hour after her flight landed, I knew. But here's the thing about betrayal. It's not just the cheating. It's the smugness. The confidence that you're too weak to react. That you'll beg, cry, forgive. I don't forgive. I erase. By the time they ordered champagne in their hotel suite, I had already drained every joint account. Her gym pass? Canceled. Her car lease? Suspended. Her apartment lease? Terminated under my name. She left with Tyler, thinking she was escaping. She came back homeless. And I wasn't done. That night, her mother called me, yelling, sobbing. You monster. You ruined her life. I just smiled and whispered, no. I gave her a new one. One where she learns the price of betrayal. Click. I hung up. And from that moment on, everything changed. You think this story's over? No, my friend. This was just the first move. Because what I discovered next made everything even darker. After I walked out of that hotel suite, I didn't feel relief. I felt the start of something darker. Not rage, clarity. She thought this was checkmate. But I had pawns she didn't even know existed. When Jessica moved in with me 2 years ago, I had a security camera installed in the hallway of our apartment. Not because I suspected her, but because the landlord warned me about break-ins. She knew about it. What she didn't know was that I never removed the cloud backup. That morning, after returning from the hotel scene, I logged into the account. I expected maybe a clip of her leaving with a suitcase. What I found? 27 recordings. All within the last 2 months. Clip 1, Tyler standing at my front door. Shirt tight, cologne thick in the air, even through the screen. Clip 2, Jessica pulling him in, kissing him before the door even closed. Clip 6, he enters with a six-pack and leaves 5 hours later, shirtless. Clip 11, Jessica in a towel, waving goodbye, blowing kisses. Like it was their home. And the worst part? Clip 19, Tyler and Jessica, both laughing, carrying my gaming chair into the hallway. They had sold my stuff. My chest clenched. My fists curled. This wasn't just cheating. It was looting. They didn't love each other. They loved what I gave them. And they thought I'd never find out. I downloaded every clip, compressed them into one video. Then I sent it to her work email with the subject line, for the HR folder. No message. Just the footage. She worked at a law firm. Image meant everything. I gave her a silent nuke. Not 10 minutes later, my phone lit up with her name. I didn't answer. She called again. And again. Then the messages started. I can explain. You're being dramatic. It didn't mean anything. Please don't send that to anyone else. I stared at the last one the longest. Not sorry. Not ashamed. Just scared. I turned off my phone and took a walk. That's when I bumped into Ethan, my neighbor from 2 doors down. Nice guy. Quiet. Always walking his dog. Never caused drama. He nodded, then hesitated. Hey man, can I ask you something? Sure. That guy? The one who used to come around when you weren't home? Kinda loud, flashy? My heart slowed. Yeah. He looked away for a second. I caught him trying to key your car once. Told him I'd call the cops. He backed off. Thought maybe it was just some drunk friend of yours. I clenched my jaw. That wasn't just a violation of trust. That was disrespect. He wasn't just sleeping with my wife. He was marking territory. Trying to break what he didn't own. Thanks for telling me, man, I said. Ethan nodded and walked off. I stood on the sidewalk, staring at my car. I had been played. Robbed. Humiliated. But I wasn't broken. No. Now I was building something. Something calculated. Something permanent. I went back inside and opened my laptop. Time to dig deeper. Tyler's social media was public. Classic narcissist move. Every post was a flex. New watches. New trips. New women. Except, I noticed something strange. A post from 3 weeks ago. A selfie with Jessica in a mirror. Caption, "She's the real one." Only, the mirror showed my bedroom in the background. They had been together longer than I thought. And they'd been doing it in my house. In my bed, I leaned back in the chair and stared at the ceiling. She had turned my life into a stage for their little soap opera. Fine. But if they wanted drama, I was about to write the finale. The first time Jessica lied to me was about a parking ticket. She said it wasn't hers. I paid it anyway. The second time was about a dinner, some vague excuse about a late meeting. But the receipt I found showed 2 entrees and 3 margaritas. And then there were the girl trips. Always somewhere warm, always suspiciously timed when I was slammed with work. I'd be stuck in conference calls while she'd be posting filtered pictures with captions like, "Self-care weekend." Now, all of it was unraveling in reverse like a poison timeline. I opened a new Google Doc and titled it, "The List of Lies." Every memory, every suspicion, every time she changed her lock screen, every time she turned her phone face down, every fake smile, every weird perfume that wasn't hers, every lunch that turned into dinner, every "I love you" that felt a little too empty. It added up. I scrolled through the footage again. There was a moment, just a second, where Jessica stood in the hallway after Tyler left. She looked around, like she was checking if someone saw her. Then she smiled. Not a guilty smile. A proud one. That was the crack. That was when something inside me turned off. Love? Gone. Respect? Vaporized. And somehow, that made me feel free. But I wasn't going to just move on. Not yet. First, I wanted her to feel it. So I started with her job. I didn't just send the video to her personal email. I sent it to the firm's anonymous tip line too, with a message. Caught on camera having an affair with a known con artist. On company time. Using marital funds. Thought you'd want to know. Then I sent the same clip to her boss's assistant, a woman named Claire, who once told me Jessica gave off bad vibes. Next target? Tyler. I needed to know more. Not just the flashy persona, but who he really was underneath the Instagram filters and the teeth-whitened grin. So I hired a guy, a friend of a friend, Mason, who worked IT security for private firms. He owed me a favor. "I want everything you can legally dig up on Tyler Carter," I said. "And maybe a little extra." "Say less," Mason grinned. "I'll have something in 48 hours. And boy, did he deliver. Tyler wasn't rich. He was drowning in debt. 3 maxed-out credit cards. A defaulted lease in LA. A pending lawsuit from a former investor. Even worse, he had 2 restraining orders filed by exes. One of them accused him of threats. Another claimed he used her to finance his failed clothing line. The dude was a walking red flag parade, and Jessica had bet everything on him. I sent her the report. No message. Just the truth. She responded 2 minutes later. "What is this? Why are you doing this? Are you stalking me now?" No remorse. No apology. Just deflection. Classic Jessica. So I sent her one more message. "You picked a clown. Enjoy the circus." Then I blocked her. For real this time. But the real satisfaction came later that evening. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. It was Claire, the assistant from Jessica's office. "Hey, just wanted to let you know. Jessica won't be working with us anymore. We have policies. And you're not the first complaint we've had, by the way." She laughed a little. "Oh, and tell her next time, maybe don't cheat with someone who used to run MLM scams in Arizona. It's a small world." Click. That was it. Her job? Gone. Her image? Cracked. And I had just gotten started. She tried to ruin my life quietly. So I returned the favor loudly. And trust me, the loudest part was yet to come. Jessica had always been the type to play the victim, even when caught red-handed. I knew she wouldn't take her downfall quietly. She'd spin it, twist it, and try to crawl her way back into sympathy. And she did. 2 days after she lost her job, she showed up at my doorstep. Hair perfect, makeup flawless, tight dress, crocodile tears loaded and ready. I didn't open the door. I just watched from the window. She stood there with that same look she used to give me when she wanted something. The soft eyes, the pout, the tilted head. I remembered how that look used to melt me. Now, it made me want to set the house on fire. She rang the bell. Knocked. Waited. Then, just like I expected, she pulled out her phone. Within minutes, I got a text from an unknown number. I'm sorry. I messed up. Please talk to me. Then another. It wasn't real with him. I was just confused. Can we meet? Then one more. I need you. Please. I didn't answer. Instead, I recorded everything. Her standing there. Her texting. Her fake tears. Because I knew exactly what she was about to try, and I was 3 steps ahead. The next day, I went to the storage unit I had rented a week earlier. Inside were all the things she'd left behind. Shoes, bags, expensive crap I'd bought over the years. I laid it all out, took pictures of every item, and listed it on Facebook Marketplace. Everything. Designer heels, $30. Michael Kors purse, $20. Limited edition perfume she loved, free. Smells like betrayal. It took less than 2 hours for half the stuff to be gone. Then, I sent her one last text from a burner number. I'm hosting an estate sale. Thought you might want to stop by? Oh wait, you already moved out, didn't you? No reply. But I could imagine her face. That twitch in her jaw. That fire in her eyes when she lost control. She hated losing control more than anything. So I gave her one last thing to chase, hope. I made it look like I was crumbling. Posted a few vague quotes online like, sometimes, silence is the loudest scream. The kind of crap she'd eat up. And like clockwork, she bit. Jessica messaged me from a new Instagram account. I see you're hurting. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to break us. Let's just talk. There it was. The trap was set. I agreed to meet. Neutral place, open cafe, public. She showed up looking like a movie star on trial. I came in casual, calm, unreadable. She tried to smile, but it cracked at the edges. I miss you, she said, reaching for my hand. I pulled it back like it was poison. Why? I asked. Because I realized none of it was worth it. I leaned in slightly. But it was worth it when you were sleeping in my bed with another man. She flinched. I made a mistake. No, I cut her off. You made 100. And now I'm going to give you one chance to make it right. She blinked. Hope rising. You're going to sign a document. A formal declaration that you forfeited all claims to the apartment, finances, and any shared assets due to infidelity. Her mouth dropped open. Are you serious? Deadly. I'm not signing that. Then I released the rest of the footage. Her mouth snapped shut. See, I had edited all those hallway camera clips into a beautiful little documentary called The Fall of Jessica Lange. Timestamped. Labeled. Background music. I even added slow motion to the part where she kissed Tyler goodbye in my bathrobe. I pulled out a folder and slid it across the table. She stared at it. Torn. I'll ruin you, she whispered. I smiled. You already tried. Now it's my turn. She signed. No lawyer. No fight. Just one scorned woman finally realizing she'd lost to someone who had nothing left to lose. She got up, heels clicking, eyes wet, but not from regret, from fear. And as I watched her walk away, I whispered to myself. Next up, Tyler. I knew Tyler wasn't the type to lay low. Guys like him, narcissists wrapped in Gucci knockoffs, always come up for air, especially when they think they've won. And that made him easy to track. His latest post showed him lounging on a rooftop with a drink in hand, captioned, "Some people break, others build. I'm a builder." Funny, considering he was living in a short-term Airbnb he didn't even pay for. Jessica's card was still tied to it. She never changed her Apple Pay. So, I did the most disrespectful thing I could think of. I ordered a pizza to his Airbnb. But not just any pizza. A $75 one, loaded with the spiciest toppings known to mankind. Garlic crust, triple anchovies. And I used the note section to write. Thought you might be hungry after ruining lives. Extra salty, just like your future. Then I sent one more message through an anonymous texting app. You're not safe, Tyler. You never were. And I know more than you think. He didn't respond. But I got what I wanted. Silence. Radio silence from a guy who usually posted 5 times a day. The man was shook. Mason, my tech contact, pulled through again. Turns out Tyler had a bunch of burner phones tied to different fake businesses. One of them was flagged in a local police database for fraudulent e-commerce. Another red flag. So I filed a report. Nothing big. Just enough to nudge the feds. I even included screenshots of his business ventures, a few reviews from pissed-off customers, and a timeline of payments traced through Jessica's account. I wasn't going for jail. I was going for pressure. Let him feel hunted. Let him wonder who was watching. And while I waited, I took the next step, the final nail. I contacted Camila, one of Tyler's exes, the one who had filed the restraining order against him 2 years prior. I messaged her with proof. His new location, screenshots of him using Jessica to finance his lifestyle, and a voice recording of Jessica saying, "Tyler promised me I'd never have to work again." Camila called me. At first, she was skeptical. Then she saw the receipts. "Oh my God," she said. "He's doing it again." Her voice trembled, not out of fear, but rage. "We're getting that bastard this time," she whispered. I had found my ally. Together, we crafted a formal report with her previous statements, updated evidence, and Tyler's most recent scams. She had contacts in local law enforcement who still remembered the case. It moved fast. Within a week, Tyler was under investigation for wire fraud and identity manipulation. But that's not the best part. Jessica didn't know any of this was happening. She was still holed up in her sister's basement, trying to clean up her image online, posting fake inspirational quotes and acting like she was healing. Meanwhile, her boy toy was drowning. And then came the final blow. I waited until the investigation officially opened, when Tyler's accounts got frozen and the subpoenas started flying, to send Jessica one more anonymous package. Inside, a USB with every photo of Tyler cheating on her. Because, of course, he wasn't just using her. He was sleeping with 2 other women the whole time. Different states. Same sweet lies. Along with it, a printed message. "You betrayed a man who would have died for you, for a con artist who never even looked you in the eye while lying. Guess you two really were a perfect match." That night, Jessica tried to call me again. I didn't pick up. She messaged from a new number. "He used me. You were right. Please talk to me." I just sent one emoji back. And blocked her. She chose her battlefield. I simply made sure she got buried in it. Just when I thought it was over, the universe threw me one more curveball, and this time, it was personal. A week after Tyler vanished from social media and the investigation went public, I got a letter in the mail. Not an email. Not a text. A letter. Handwritten. No return address. I opened it, expecting more empty apologies or maybe some desperate cry from Jessica's family. But it wasn't from her. It was from Ashley, Jessica's best friend, the one who was supposedly always out of town during her girl trips. The letter began like this. "You don't know me that well, but I know everything. I should have come to you earlier, but Jess made threats. She told me if I ever talked, she'd drag me down with her. I can't keep this inside anymore. You deserve the truth." My eyes narrowed. I kept reading. Jessica was cheating on you long before Tyler. He wasn't the first. He wasn't even the worst. She had another guy, a married one. His name's Connor. They met at her law firm. That's why she fought so hard to work late. And guess what? His wife found out. Threatened to expose them. That's why Jess jumped to Tyler. She needed an out. I stopped reading for a second. So the whole love story with Tyler? It wasn't even real. He was just her exit plan when the first affair imploded. I felt sick. Not because it hurt anymore. That pain was long gone. But because I realized I had been living with a stranger for 3 years. A well-dressed, well-practiced manipulator who switched men like outfits. The letter continued. "Also, I'm sorry to say this, but remember your anniversary weekend last year when Jess said her mom was in the hospital? That was a lie. She was in Vegas with Connor. I helped cover for her. I'm not proud of it. She used me, too. That weekend. I remembered it clearly. I stayed up 2 nights straight working on a project, feeling guilty she was dealing with family stuff. And she was in Vegas, blowing kisses at another man. And I had no clue. Until now. By the end of the letter, Ashley offered to meet and talk if I wanted more answers. She included a burner number. I didn't call. I didn't need to. I already knew what I had to do. She didn't just cheat. She orchestrated her entire life around deception, lied to me, to her job, to her friends, even to her lovers. This wasn't about betrayal anymore. It was about who she was at her core. So I took it one step further. I sent Ashley's letter, anonymously, to Jessica's father, a man who once gave a toast at our engagement party and told me, "She's intense, but she's loyal." Loyal? Yeah, right. I never heard back from him. But a few days later, Jessica messaged me again from another new number. "What the hell did you send to my dad? He's cut me off. My family won't even talk to me now. Are you proud of yourself?" I replied with one word. Finally. Then I blocked her for the last time. That same evening, I got a call from Mason. "Hey man," he said, a weird tone in his voice. You're gonna want to hear this. What is it? They picked up Tyler. Wait, what? For the fraud? Yeah. But get this, he folded instantly. Gave up names, details, everything. And your ex? Jessica? She's now being looked at for accessory to financial crime. I froze. It was poetic. She didn't just ruin her life. She signed herself into a downfall she thought she could flirt her way out of. And now the walls were closing in. But me? I was already gone. I booked a one-way flight that night. No social media. No forwarding address. I didn't need revenge anymore. I had freedom. 3 weeks. That's how long I'd been gone. A different city, different phone, different name on the lease. No connections. No reminders. And most importantly, no Jessica. I'd wake up with no gut-twisting texts, no fake apologies, no social media breadcrumbs leading back to her circus. Just quiet. Real quiet. The kind you feel in your bones when you're finally free. Then, one morning, I got a message from Mason. He was supposed to delete my old account traces, bank activity, forwarding addresses, anything she might use to find me. But he couldn't resist sending this one last gem. It was a screenshot of a news report. Local woman under investigation in fraud ring connected to former law firm employee Tyler Carter. Her photo was right there, looking nothing like the flawless version she used to post. No filters, no edits. Just a raw mugshot with smeared eyeliner and that same arrogant glare, now empty. I laughed. Not a petty chuckle. A full-on, belly-deep laugh that made my neighbors probably think I was losing it. She had lied her way into every room, manipulated everyone she touched. And now the spotlight she craved had become a noose. The article detailed how Tyler had given her name during the fraud investigation, claimed she knew everything, and was managing payments through her personal cards. Whether that was true or not didn't matter. The feds thought it might be, and that was enough to freeze her assets and subpoena her records. Mason added, "Guess who's now applying for legal aid? She's broke. Her family's cut her off. No place to stay. Apparently couch surfing with some girl she once bullied in college." Poetic, huh? Damn right it was. But I wasn't done yet, because I had one final card to play. You see, before I left town, I visited one more person, Jessica's boss, the senior partner at her law firm, Mr. Reynolds. The man who gave her a glowing referral even after she left. I showed him everything. The footage, the letter from Ashley, the financial links to Tyler. I made it clear, she wasn't just a liability. She was a ticking bomb with the firm's name still echoing behind her. He didn't say a word, just stared at the USB I handed him like it was radioactive. And now, word on the street was Reynolds had passed that info up the chain. Jessica wasn't just losing her freedom. She was being blacklisted from every legal firm in the state. No more rebuilding. No more fresh starts. She'd spend the rest of her life haunted by what she did. And that was enough. I didn't want her in jail. I didn't want to destroy her future just to say I could. I wanted something colder. Irrelevance. She used to walk into every room like she owned it. Now, she'd be lucky to rent a one-bedroom with peeling paint and neighbors who didn't care who she used to be. I didn't respond to any of the texts Mason forwarded from her new number. Not, "Can we please just talk?" Not, "You don't understand what Tyler did to me." And definitely not, "You ruined everything." Because I didn't ruin her. She did that all by herself. All I did was pull back the curtain, let her stand in the light, and watch everything she built on lies collapse. Meanwhile, I was sipping black coffee in a city where no one knew my name. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since college. Something she used to roll her eyes at and call a waste of time. Now it was therapy, and for the first time in years, my hands weren't shaking. My smile wasn't fake, and my phone, silent. She could scream into the void all she wanted. She could blame Tyler, me, her dad, the weather, whatever helped her sleep. But the truth? The truth was, she never loved anyone, not even herself. And now she had nothing left to betray. Only one part of the story remained. The goodbye. The message came on a cold Thursday morning, just as I stepped into the little coffee shop I now called my sanctuary. It wasn't from Jessica. It wasn't from Mason. It was from a number I didn't recognize, but the tone was unmistakable. "I'm in your city. I need to talk. Please." I stared at it for a full minute, half a dozen thoughts racing through my head. I had deleted every trace of my new life. No social media, no LinkedIn, no forwarding info. I hadn't even told my closest friends where I'd gone. But she found me. Of course she did. Jessica was like a virus, lingering, morphing, always adapting. She must have pulled the string on someone, somewhere. Or maybe she had followed Mason's trail. Didn't matter. What mattered was what she wanted now. I didn't respond. But I didn't delete it either. The part of me that once loved her, the fool who believed in her smiles, who built a life around her lies, needed to see her one last time. Not to forgive. Not to reconcile. Just to finish it. I chose the location carefully, a quiet public park on the edge of the city. Broad daylight. No drama. No stage for a performance. I waited on the bench overlooking a frozen pond, hands in my coat pockets, watching the sky turn steel gray. And then she appeared. Not with her usual strut. Not in heels. She looked worn. Hollow. Like a candle that had burned too fast and too hot. Her eyes scanned the park until they landed on me. She approached slowly, like she wasn't sure I'd stay. I didn't move. She sat beside me, leaving a gap between us. For once, she didn't speak first. She just sat there, breathing. Finally, I broke the silence. What do you want? Her voice cracked. Closure. I let out a laugh, dry and sharp. You want closure? After what you did. I know I ruined everything, she whispered. Tyler, the money, the lies. I lost control. No. I cut in, turning to face her. You never lost control. You gave it away, one lie at a time. You chose Tyler. You chose every moment you betrayed me. You weren't lost, Jessica. You were just selfish. She looked down at her hands, now shaking. I'm not asking for you to forgive me. I wanted you to see that I'm not the same person. You are, I said. But now, the mask is gone. That's the only difference. Tears welled in her eyes. Real ones, maybe. But I didn't care anymore. That part of me, the part that used to ache at her pain, was dead. I lost everything, she said. My job, my family, my friends. You didn't lose it, I replied coldly. You burned it down. She nodded slowly, as if she'd been waiting to hear those words. Then she pulled something from her coat. A folded piece of paper. I wrote you something, she said. You don't have to read it. Just take it. I didn't move. She placed it on the bench between us, stood up, and stepped back. For a moment, I thought she might say something else. Instead, she looked at me with a strange softness. I did love you, she whispered. And then she turned and walked away. I let her go. Didn't call after her. Didn't touch the letter. I sat there for a while longer, watching the wind ripple across the icy surface of the water. Then I stood up, left the letter untouched, and walked away without looking back. Some doors don't need to be slammed. They just need to stay closed. This wasn't revenge. This wasn't justice. This was release. I had finally let her go, not because she deserved it, but because I did.